It's been about 10 months now since I got this vehicle, and I have close to 20,000 miles. I made 20,000 already. All right. I actually came out of a bit of the spell where I was just like, I used to like everything about the vehicle before I bought it and after I bought it. But now, after driving for so long and so many months, I can see things more clearly and in more detail, and that is why this video, I thought it would make sense to bring it up. So let's start with the goodies that I have. So the first thing is the adaptive cruise control. I really got used to this feature so much, and I didn't know that I would become so dependent on it, but it's really awesome feature. Probably every car is coming up with it now, but still, that's the best thing, and it works really nice. The second one is forward collision mitigation, whatever they call it. But the thing that alerts you when there's a vehicle in front of you or any obstruction in front of you that comes up suddenly. I didn't test it 100% because I don't want to test or risk hitting someone. So, but yeah, it the indication that comes up is pretty responsive, and it's really good. The third one is the mileage. I get about at least 28 to 29. I get about 28 to 29 in during the I mean on the highway drives, and then combined I get about 23 to 24. The least I got was 20. Mm, Probably downtown driving a lot. Then I have the driver seat comfort for long distance. The reason I'm saying this is because of the time I spend on one-way drive. Sometimes it's like 3 hours. The driver seat comfort is really nice. I don't know about the zero gravity stuff, but it's really comfortable. I don't feel that the position I'm in is really is tough or something. It's really comfortable. The rear seat legroom is awesome. Very stable at high speeds. I'm not talking about turns, but overall on high speeds, the way this vehicle handles is pretty sturdy. You don't feel it's wobbly or jumping around, or you don't feel unstable. It really hugs the road pretty well. Panoramic sunroof, it's cosmetic, but this is something that I almost kind of use every day. It's always open. Meaning just the liner, not the actual door. That's all with the goodies, apart from the other things that I spoke about in my previous videos. Uh, Let me come to the negatives that I realized in this time that I've spent. The number one issue, not probably for me, but for a lot of people that I have seen on forums, it's the hood reflection. Let me take this a bit closer. I'll show you where that is. All right, I'm trying to capture that reflection. It's mostly obviously towards the driver's side. So you have this bump, like that inward bump that you can see right now. So at a certain time of the day, probably maybe 10 o'clock or in the evening about 2 o'clock, depending on which way you're driving, there is a lot of reflection that comes off of this edge and this whole edge. Um, Not all through, but right now probably you can see it in one of those corners. So imagine that hitting you into your eyes. Uh, People were suggesting like why Nissan came up with this bump or this shape. Maybe they might have kind of not seen that coming, but they don't have to like really change the design. I feel it's really nice to have that kind of a bump up there. Probably kind of matte this out. You don't really need that glossy finish on this edge and this inside section. I don't know, maybe they might change it for the 2016, 2017 version. I think matting this out and would solve the problem. But one of my friends, he bought a white Murano, and he lives in Texas. And poor guy, he said he was driving almost an hour towards that with that reflection in his eyes. So he's almost considering selling his Murano. So I don't know. Luckily I do see that reflection, but the timings that I drive, I never felt that was too much of a problem. But yeah, it is a problem, but it's not too much of a problem for me. The second thing that I can think of is the ride quality. ride quality in the rear seating. I would give it a 6 out of 10. So the reason I'm saying that is like once we were in Niagara, or we were driving to Niagara, I had a chance to sit at the back. So I feel it's spacious and everything, comfortable to sit. Yeah, but the on like bumpy roads, the ride was not smooth. I felt it was too bumpy to me, to my taste. I don't know. It could be I could be too picky, or I didn't drive like a premium car, so I don't have anything to compare. But this didn't feel that it was too smooth a ride on bumpy roads. On smooth roads, not a problem at all. But on bumpy roads, this was not a great ride. Next thing is the tight steering. So I was recently in Vegas, and we rented a Ford Edge there. I drove it for 3 days, and the first thing I noticed when I was picking it up from the airport, the steering felt so comfortable, so easy to turn. I'm not talking about like when you're driving; it's more when you're like probably parking the vehicle, sort of like really low speeds. I could turn that with a single finger. It was that smooth. On here on the Murano, the steering, I feel it's definitely harder, so you'll have to use a full hand to actually turn that steering around. But on high speeds, both were fine. Like, when I was driving this by itself, I didn't feel that, but when I drove the Edge, that's when I could feel the difference. All right, one more negative is the camera in the front. I'm not talking about the camera, but the placement and the way it is designed. See, the camera is right here under the Nissan symbol, logo. It's right here, and it's open to the elements of your drive. So what happened once was I was driving up to my workplace, and then suddenly I just couldn't see anything on the front camera when I was backing up because of the 360-degree camera. And then I said, okay, why did this stop working? So I just got off and then saw that there were a bunch of insects all huddled up here, completely closing up this whole area. So then I wondered, I mean, CRV, maybe all the Hondas, what they do is they put a glass in front of the camera. It's such a simple solution. If you have a glass up here, imagine cleaning that area. Or I think Honda has one up in the behind the rear view camera. They have their lane assist system. I don't know if the camera is up there, but still, I think having a glass screen over the camera here would make things so much easy. I mean, it was so tough to get those insects out. You can see this compartment that kind of gives way to that, and even the camera, around the camera, there's another crease where things can get into. So I had to use forceps or tweezers to get some insects out of there. And I have to do that regularly. I had to do that regularly whenever I'm cleaning my car, because there's always something stuck up there. The Civic has those outward wiping wipers from the center. So probably that was a good design to have, and that's why I never saw this happen before. But right now you can see a fair bit of water splash back onto the passenger side once this one, the big one, goes back to its position. A really minor thing, but it's there. All right, more of the negatives on the software side. This has the Connect. Hold on, where is that? The Nissan Connect. I've never used it. After I tried it for the first maybe 1 or 2 weeks, I tried it to actually get it to work. I tried to sync up Facebook, nothing happens. Online search, I really don't use it. I wish Nissan comes up with a software upgrade where it could support Android or Apple CarPlay or whatever, and Android Auto. That would be really nice, and I'm sure there would be people who would be really impressed with those two. If Nissan supported that instead of their Nissan Connect. I've never used Nissan Connect again after those number of tries when I wanted to connect to Facebook or anything. That's a negative for me because I never use that. I have the app on my phone, it doesn't connect for some reason and all that crazy software stuff. And then a USB plug-in error. So I listen to most of my songs via USB. I think when you have your songs, sometimes thumbnails come onto the file system, so you could have an image there. Maybe that's the problem, and I figured out probably it's the thumbnail, but anyway, I don't even know if that's the reason. The whole audio system, audio software, it just crashes, so you cannot hear anything, you cannot change the songs, the folders, anything, nothing works up here. And the only way to reset it is to turn off the vehicle and restart it. Only then you would be able to use the USB audio support again. Nothing works. I mean, you cannot even change the source to anything like SXM. I have Sirius here, but I cannot change it from USB 1 is what I use when I'm listening to the USB, and then once that is hung up, nothing works up here. So that's a big software upgrade that I'll have to come up with. Android support plug. Okay, so this one. See this? I have, like, I mean, whenever I'm driving, I have a water bottle up here, and then I don't know, maybe water bottle and a coffee cup or something. So whenever I have my plug the charger up here and my bottle up here, you should see the way the problems I have to. It's not huge. I mean, maybe some people might laugh about this, but still, when you have a bottle up here and you have that whole charger dongle that's coming out and then the wire, and you're driving from up here, you cannot see the USB port that comes out of here. So you'll have to place the longer bottle here and the shorter bottle really short, because see, I mean, that's how short it's supposed to be. It's going to be. And then once you have this, you can access the charging port. Bad design. This either should have been next to the start button or maybe up here. These are all like indicator things for your passenger airbag and stuff. Those could have been shifted probably onto the screen, or maybe up here. They could have been shifted up there, and then had the charging port all up more towards the driver. So that's one minor design flaw. I think I've covered almost everything from the inside. Nothing much on this side, here, up here. Oh yeah, so recently my sunroof button, can you see it? Yeah, this my sunroof button from 2 days ago, it started to not have the auto, the auto function stopped working. I thought, wow, I mean, this is weird for a new car. And then I went up online, checked that some people do have this problem. In fact, it's Nissan's, not just the Murano. It's both Murano and the Rogue. I'll have to reset it. People suggested 30 seconds in the off position, and that's when it's going to reset. So right now I'll have to close the whole sunroof. I'll have to press this button about 30 times, because that moves. Let me show it to you. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll have to do that in so many increments. That's a bad thing for a new car. I can compare only with a Civic, because that's what I drove. I never had this problem for the past 8 years. I never had that problem. So that's bad. Okay, one more thing about the steering. See this plastic section, both sides, a little bit on the top. When I drive the vehicle, I kind of hold this vehicle like this, hold the steering like this. Sometimes, I mean, mostly it's here and here, but sometimes while turning, it's like this, or anyway. See that? I don't know if I can show it from the back side. Hold on. Yeah. That has a really sharp edge. So whenever I'm holding the steering like that, I have kind of paper cuts, not real cuts, but a real sharp press that happens up here, both sides. I'm surprised that for a $45,000 vehicle, or at least $30,000 vehicle, this is such a crude finish on a steering. I really hope they upgrade this steering wheel. My Civic has a much nicer finish. The leather, or the Civic has whatever the other material is, it's kind of together with this plastic, so there's no edge that cuts your finger or any other part of your body. So I really hope 2016, 17, whenever, this has to be changed for sure. There's one more. What was that? Oh, the paddle shifters. The Ford Edge I was talking about, that had paddle shifters up here. Uh, the manual simulation feature. This one, the Murano, has it here. Like you bring the stick back up to this section, and then you can upshift and downshift. Should have been a paddle shifters. It gives a really cool sporty look. At the same time, it's so easy to use that if they were here behind the steering wheel. What else did I have up here? Oh yeah, the lights. So we have these lights. Oh, that's just the sun reflection. But anyway, these lights, the cabin lights. What I noticed was they were focusing up here, not here, but here. It would have been really nice if these lights were focusing towards the edge of the seat, more towards the edge of the seat. If they had these movable, like on the airplanes, this whole a small light that can be pressed into different directions, how awesome would that be if they had that on the wake on the in the cars? So that's, yeah, one other nice to have. All right, two things here. Nice to haves are, in fact, I think it's mostly a negative, I think. The passenger seat doesn't do the up and down pedit, and for them to get off of this seat, it's definitely a more difficult case compared to a sedan. Sorry, my shadow is up there. But I feel if this had the eight-way adjustment, that would have been a nice thing for at least the platinum version. All right, another nice to have feature. See that carpet area near under that seat? I call it the kick area. The reason, I mean, all kids, any person who's sitting at the back, they would kind of be kicking that area. I would have liked it if they continued with the plastic finish up there, because I had a tough time cleaning up a mark on the carpet. So it would have been a nice thing to kind of wipe it away instead of washing it and then vacuuming it and drying it and all that stuff. So I would have liked it if there was a plastic finish near that kick area. So this is it from me about the 20,000 mile drive. So I hope this video is useful for people who are buying the vehicle in the near future, or maybe it might help Nissan to figure out like what current customers are facing, and what problems they have, and what can easily be fixed with the next versions. Really minor things. I mean, it's not too professional. I don't know anything about the stuff that's going on inside the engine and things like that. So I'm not talking about those. That's for professionals to talk about. I'm talking about the basic user interface and a common user experience. So hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.